Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a structured and honestly highly unusual look at a fascinating research paper by Eternity Leonard titled The Energetics of Meat, Field-Raised versus Lab-Grown. You know, whether you're someone who tracks every single macro you eat or you just grab whatever's handy in the fridge, this paper offers a completely different lens on nutrition. Instead of just looking at standard metrics of a diet, Leonard's research explores the deep biological, neurochemical, and even energetic impacts of exactly where our meat comes from. We're going to map out exactly what this paper posits regarding how different forms of meat might interact with human cellular health.
Okay, let's dive into this. The core premise of Leonard's entire paper is that food is so much more than just a collection of calories, protein, and fat. According to this framework, food is actually an energetic blueprint. The idea is that when you consume it, you're actively downloading specific bioelectrical information straight into your system. From the perspective of quantum biology and sensory mechanics outlined in the research, this means the environment where your food was created fundamentally dictates the invisible data your body receives.
Section 1. More than just calories. Tracing the energetic blueprint. Section 2. The Solar Torus Loop. Field-raised beef. To really understand Leonard's concept of the Solar Torus Loop, I want you to imagine a steer living its entire life out on a completely open pasture. The paper posits that this animal actually acts as a biological conductor for something called the Schumann Resonance. That's the natural electromagnetic heartbeat of our planet, vibrating at 7.83 Hz. And this brilliantly illustrates how, just by standing directly on the Earth, the author claims these animals are geomagnetically grounded every single day, participating in a flawless, multi-dimensional ecosystem loop. And all of this results in what the paper calls the calm animal blueprint. Because the animal is essentially converting unfiltered sunlight directly into complex organic tissue while being naturally grounded, the paper suggests you aren't just getting plain protein. You're actually ingesting a really complex matrix of biophotons, balanced omega-3s, and trace minerals that are hardwired by natural circadian rhythms to support your cellular health.
Now, let's pivot for a second and look at the other side of the equation, because it's a stark contrast. On one hand, we have photosynthetic integration, literally converting natural light into living tissue. But on the other hand, we have what the author terms zero light code. This refers to lab-grown or cultivated meat, which the paper points out has never touched a single ray of natural sunlight or stood on the living earth. It has absolutely no structural relationship with that grounding Schumann resonance we just discussed.
Section 3. The matrix static. Exploring lab-grown meat.
All right, so we're shifting away from that calm, open pasture into the highly mechanical environment where cultivated meat is produced. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer amount of unnatural speed and synthetic inputs required here. Instead of sunlight and grass, these stem cells multiply inside massive stainless steel bioreactors. They're bathed in artificial blue light and exposed to electromagnetic frequencies from industrial machinery. They are fed a synthetic slurry of chemical nutrients, fetal bovine serum, and rapid growth factors. The paper defines this entire environment as bioreactor stress static.
And because of those synthetic inputs, Leonard describes lab-grown meat as the cellular void. According to the research, it's a biologically sterile mass of completely disconnected cells. It lacks a centralized nervous system, it lacks a heart-torus field, and it lacks any sovereign life experience. So while it technically contains the chemical building blocks of meat, the research states it is energetically devoid of natural life force information. Section 4. The gut-brain connection. How our bodies decode this blueprint. So how does all this environmental data actually impact you? The crucial point is right here in this physiological roadmap. Step 1, you ingest the energetic blueprint, whether that's from the calm pasture or the static bioreactor. Step 2, your gut microbiome, which we often call our second brain, has to decode that molecular structure. Step 3, your vagus nerve acts like a massive communication highway, sending signals about what it just decoded straight up to your mind. And Step 4, based entirely on those signals, your brain's neurochemical baseline shifts. Section 5. Shifting your brainwaves. Measuring the output. Okay, now we're looking at the exact measurable brainwave outputs this research attributes to these two highly different meat sources once they pass through that gut-brain highway. And we are back to this magic number, 7.83 Hz. Because field-raised beef's tissue was synthesized in perfect alignment with this natural Earth frequency, the paper asserts your gut recognizes it instantly, creating literally zero internal digestive friction. It's packed with bioavailable amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosine, delivering them in exactly the way the author claims your body naturally expects. And because of this completely frictionless decoding process, your vagus nerve sends a very specific message. It signals to your brain that your internal environment is abundant, safe, and natural. The paper beautifully describes this as providing a biological anchor that helps seal an invisible force field against anxiety. But contrast that heavily with this frequency range, 20 to 30 hertz. When your gut lining has to work overtime to decode the unnatural, ungrounded molecular structure of lab-grown meat, things really change. According to the paper, this synthetic input actually acts as a subtle neurological irritant, alerting the amygdala, which is your brain's primal survival center.
Essentially, the body treats these isolated, frequency-dead inputs with an inflammatory, low-level defense response. You are taking the synthetic static of the stainless steel bioreactor and introducing it straight into your own neural tuner, and that creates internal chemical friction. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final comparison. If your diet input is field-raised beef, the output is described as alpha and theta brainwaves, hanging out between 4 and 12 hertz. This is the calm, present, deeply intuitive, and grounded space of the mind. But if the input is lab-grown meat, the output frequency locks into high beta static at 20 to 30 hertz. And that is the frequency of restlessness, over-analytical worry, and mental fatigue. Section 6. The Sovereign Alignment. Our final conclusion. We've traced this entire journey from the soil and the bioreactor all the way up into the frequencies of the human mind. Ultimately, the author views the human body as a highly sophisticated, multidimensional antenna. The theory presented here is that if you want to maintain your brain's highest, most creative states of flow, clarity, and protected repose, you must feed your hardware with food created by the intelligence of nature. Food that has walked the field under the sun ensures your physical avatar stays anchored, allowing your mind to tune into the clear data streams of true wellness. I'll leave you with this final, provocative question drawn directly from our explainer today. Are your daily data streams being fed by the intelligence of nature or the artificial static of the matrix? Based on Eternity Leonard's research, every single bite is a biological choice. Thank you so much for joining me for this structured dive into the energetics of our food. Keep learning, and I really hope this leaves you pondering the true energetic origins of your next meal.